yeah, I'm going to talk about the benefits of using Pocket Network. So first thing first, oh, sorry. My name is Christopher Ortega. I'm a backend engineer at Pocket Network. Those are my socials and the other things in case you're interested. And yeah, let's go ahead with this. So I wanted to start with an analogy. You can basically come up with a lot of these, and I wanted to use this one. So let's start thinking about a bookstore and how the operations for a regular bookstore work, where books are, like people are lending books or stuff. So in this case, you have to come up, like a company needs to come up with a lot of books and store them and basically, store them in their facilities and have a very specific, section of books that are popular, so you know that people are actually going to take those books, so you can monetize them. And like this is basically has an overhead among like the bookstore. And if you want to open other branches, you actually need to replicate all those books among the branches, so they are all available in all of these bookstores that you have. So in the other picture, if we think about the centralized bookstore, where people can bring books, maybe not the most popular books, but books that a regular bookstore doesn't have because they are not, maybe they are niche or something, they can come with it, and if it's someone lends the book or something, they get, paid for the book they handed to you, so you can basically open up to the people. And that's basically how you can come up about Pocket. Basically, we're linking nodes that are open to the public, like in different regions, different parts of the world, unlike the centralized services right now that they all have their servers and they have operational overhead about opening in different regions and all of that things that come when you need to actually move from where you want to service. And this is not the case for Pocket. From the very beginning of Pocket, I have always had this phrase in my mind. If you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together. And this is basically what Pocket does very well, because we are a project that has a network, and this network consists of a lot of nodes, but it also has a community. And this community is consistently coming up with improvements that not necessarily come from inside the company, but from the outsiders that are actually using the service and are actually, bringing back ideas that maybe we don't see from the internal. And yeah. Now I'm gonna mention a few advantages from what I've said, but like more summarized about the benefits of using Pocket. So first, you have the fair access from anywhere through the world. 25,000 nodes across the globe are running, blockchain nodes for specific blockchains, and that is the infra that you are that comes available when you use Pocket. The second one is more coverage regionally. As I was saying before, if someone that's taking a centralized approach wanted to open, I don't know, data centers somewhere else to be able to service, do better service in some specific place, then they will need to come up with, like all the things that come with that. In this case, from Pocket, with all these nodes across the globe, we're able to have basically no overhead if you look at it from the protocol perspective, where you can basically have an app and then you have a session with a lot of people across the globe. And this is basically what you enable. The third one is the number of blockchains is not an issue. As I've said, we don't actually need to come up with, like a big amount of infrastructure on everywhere we want to service, because the node network actually enables that. Novel tokenomics owned by the DAO, same thing about the community. The community basically owns the protocol. Everyone that is, included in the DAO has a say in in the direction that the protocol is taking. And there have been numerous of improvements that have, come from forum discussions and have come a reality. And that is really valuable, and you don't have that when you are basically using service provided solely by a company and nothing else. And revenue is shared across the network. This is by far one of my favorites, because when you see in this perspective, when a company is running nodes to provide service to a specific applications, all the revenue goes to them and basically for profit. In this case, if you take the protocol and stake an app, access the nodes in there, you're basically just benefiting the node that you are giving the traffic to, and not like the Pocket company. Pocket has a service, but the network is something on its own and can operate without the company itself in theory. So, and this is basically what I was outlining. In terms of Pocket, we have community and we have strong fundamentals. When you look at the protocol and you look back, I don't know, like 4 years, 5 years ago, when these guys started this project, maybe it sounds crazy, but now that we are seeing other companies basically coming up with their own networks for this same purpose, and you're certainly seeing that the model is being validated. The difference is that we already have a very strong fundamentals and a really strong community of a lot of developers, and even more than that, researchers. We have in our DAO, we have people with PhD that volunteer their time to contribute to the core protocol, and I don't think that's easy to find anywhere. And that's really, really, when you get into Pocket, something that surprises me the most. But you might be wondering, like, okay, but what kind of application can I build with this? Okay, for the RPC service, the actual service that we provide, you can come up with a few different things. I won't go into detail because most of you know about these things. Use web and desktop wallets, blockchain games, and so on and so forth. Anything that needs to query data to the blockchain or write data to the blockchain. In terms of if you're like more of a hacker that doesn't have an app, a dApp or something, then you can go and look at the Pocket protocol that is its own blockchain, and you can build a lot of things on top of it. We already have a lot of people in the community who have come up with tools to actually help the network to become a better network itself over time. I don't know, like people can be latency metrics for us, reward explorers, transaction explorers, and like anything that comes to your mind that you can do with our own blockchain. Now I'm going to talk about the Pocket Portal. The Pocket Portal is basically the service where you can have a single access to one URL similar to other service providers of this nature, where you can just plug in a link into your application and have access to everything that Pocket has to offer. This Pocket Portal is basically an application built on top of Pocket. So same as I was saying before, you can leverage the network to do a lot of different things. We at first saw this opportunity and basically wrapped everything around it, and you can basically come and use our service this way and not necessarily through the protocol. I know that some may be wondering how does this work. I won't go into very deep detail. If you want to have further details, you can refer to the documentation. But the process that we have is how we use the network is this way. So basically, in the network for Pocket, every application has around every 4 blocks has a certain amount of nodes where they can choose from, and these nodes are not necessarily in one specific region, so you have the choice to choose anything. In our case, we generate this session for the application, and we run a lot of checks to make sure that the node that the user is going to get service from is actually the best he can get. Unlike the protocol that doesn't really enforce this, but will in the future. And then randomly pick a node based on its rankings and based on how good it is for that given user, because we know that the applications may be hitting from, I don't know, Asia, whatever it is. We make sure that you are getting this diverse service for that. And that is certainly an advantage because they're, in the common model, as I said, people need to, if they want to service Asia or a very specific region that the latency is not very good, I don't know, for AWS or something, they need to come up with data centers over there. When for our case, we may have someone in there already providing service. And we basically send the data to that node returns the data, and it gets back to the user as fast as it could. This is, let me put it this side. If you want to take a closer look to it, this diagram basically outlining what happens, but it's a bit more complicated than it should. At least, well, it's a bit simple in the image, but there's a lot to read. So I will go for. If you haven't checked out Portal, you can do so, and you can scan this QR code in case you want to get your endpoint and start building an app or doing something else with it. That's it. Thanks you for coming, and I hope this talk was helpful for you all. Thanks.